Hello, keluarga Malaysia. Thank you for choosing updates at noon with me, Renee Fong. And our headlines this afternoon. Government agrees to set up National Energy Council. Britain bids adieu to Queen Elizabeth II with state funeral. The government has agreed to set up the National Energy Council (MTN) to oversee the implementation of the new energy policy, the National Energy Policy 2022 to 2040 (DTN). Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said he will chair the council to ensure that DTN initiatives are implemented effectively by the various ministries and agencies based on accountability and their respective roles.
DTN merupakan living document yang dikemas kini setiap 3 tahun dengan semakan dan pertimbangan dilakukan MTN selari dengan kemajuan teknologi, tahap pencapaian sosioekonomi negara dan keseimbangan trilema tenaga semasa.
Speaking at the launch of the DTN yesterday, the Premier said the policy would unlock economic benefits that would contribute to strong economic recovery and hasten the country's progress to rebound from the COVID-19 pandemic. He said the government would channel new investments into emerging energy sector areas and catalyse the green economy to spur enduring gross domestic product growth and job creation through the policy. He also said in implementing the policy, priority will be given to local energy companies to maximise the country's economic opportunities. Barisan Nasional BN Chairman and UMNO President Datuk Seri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi's statement that BN is ready to brave the rain and floods to face the 15th general election GE15, even if it is called during the monsoon season at the end of this year, has been misinterpreted. Communications and Multimedia Minister Tan Sri Anwar Musa said Datuk Seri Dr. Ahmad Zahid's statement was actually referring to the preparedness of BN election machinery to face the GE15 in any given situation.
Saya suka ambil yang positif. Yang positif, Presiden bermaksud nak menekankan betapa sudah siap siaganya jentera BN. Maknanya kalau banjir pun jentera ready. Tak semestinya bermakna Presiden bermaksud nak adakan juga pilihan raya walaupun banjir. Jadi saya tolong betulkan. Bukan soal mengadakan pilihan raya masa banjir. Tapi mungkin benda itu dah disalah mengertikan kerana dia tidak dikeluarkan dalam bentuk satu statement yang merupakan statement dasar.
Speaking after launching the original soundtrack and trailer of the film Seratus, Tan Sri Anwar, who is also Ketua Member of Parliament, said the holding of GE15 during the monsoon season was inappropriate, as floods would definitely make it difficult for the voters to come out and cast their votes. During a monsoon season, he said priorities will be on saving the lives and properties of the victims. The Department of Islamic Development Malaysia, JAKIM, has launched a Stop Slandering on social media campaign in an effort to raise awareness among the community members not to spread false information. Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Religious Affairs, Dato' Idris Ahmad, said there is currently a rampant spread of misinformation on social media which needs to be curbed immediately.
Fitnah ni sebenarnya sudah pun berlaku sejak zaman dah berlaku perkara-perkara fitnah ini. Budaya ini budaya yang tidak baik wujud di dalam masyarakat kita. Utamanya kita sudah hilang dari segi norma, etika, akhlak kita. Kita bimbang takut orang tidak tahan dengan fitnah ini mungkin sampai kepada peringkat mereka bunuh diri. Mereka tak boleh untuk berhadapan dengan masyarakat kerana kesan psikologi yang ada kepada mereka nanti yang akibat tertekan dengan perbuatan-perbuatan fitnah itu tadi.
He said this after the launch of the campaign in Putrajaya yesterday. Dato' Idris further noted that members of the public should be more careful before sharing any content with other people by checking the accuracy of the information. Police detained 2 drug traffickers and seized 32 kilograms of drugs worth over 90,000 ringgit after 2 separate raids at a condominium near Damansara on 13th September. Petaling Jaya Police Chief ACP Muhammad Fakhruddin Abdul Hamid said during the first raid at the condominium car park, a 40-year-old suspect was detained at 5:30 p.m. Briefing reporters yesterday, Muhammad Fakhruddin said following information obtained from the suspect, police raided a unit at the condominium about 30 minutes later and detained another suspect aged 31.
Bagi kedua-dua tangkapan ini, nilai keseluruhan rampasan disyaki dadah iaitu jenis ganja dengan anggaran berat 31,368 gram, 184 biji pil yaba dengan anggaran berat 19 gram, dan syabu anggaran berat 130 gram. Dianggarkan bernilai lebih kurang RM91,690, manakala nilai sitaan dianggar bernilai RM101,900. Hasil analisa rampasan dadah ini boleh dibekalkan kepada lebih kurang 31,500 orang penagih.
Meanwhile, police also seized a gold chain, a Honda City car believed to have been bought using money from the sale of drugs, and 34,500 ringgit cash, while the total value of the seized items was 193,510 ringgit. The 2 suspects who have been operating for the past 3 months will be remanded for 7 days and investigated under Section 39B of the Dangerous Drugs Act 1952. 5 more Malaysians who had fallen victim to job scam syndicates in Cambodia returned home yesterday. According to a statement issued by the Foreign Ministry last night, the 5 individuals arrived at the Kuala Lumpur International Airport, KLIA, via MH755 flight at 2 p.m. It said with this development, a total of 143 victims of job scams in Cambodia had been rescued out of 158 cases reported. Of the number of rescued victims, 29 are still in the immigration detention depot in Cambodia, while the rest have returned home. The statement said the Malaysian embassy in Phnom Penh is actively pursuing efforts to track down Malaysians who are reported to be victims of job scams. It also said that the ministry is intensifying efforts to rescue Malaysians who were duped by these syndicates in Laos, Myanmar and Thailand through the Malaysian embassies in those countries, adding that a total of 16 Malaysians have been rescued in Thailand, 27 in Laos and 5 in Myanmar. Meanwhile, a total of 12 victims of the syndicate in Thailand are being tracked down, as well as 28 and 54 Malaysians in Laos and Myanmar respectively. The Department of Veterinary Services has confirmed an outbreak of African swine fever (ASF) at 2 commercial pig farms in Korean district Perak on 17th and 18th September. It said the matter was confirmed through a polymerase chain reaction PCR test by the Veterinary Research Institute, and quarantine measures and prevention of the spread of ASF disease have been implemented. In a release statement, the department said the infected farms have been sealed and prohibited from any transportation of pigs and movement of vehicles, in addition to surveillance, clinical inspections and sampling at commercial pig farms in the infected areas. It added that the operation rooms at the Perak Department of Veterinary Services and Korean District Veterinary Office have been activated with the involvement of the Korean District Office. The conditions for moving pigs and pork products from Perak to the rest of Peninsular Malaysia have also been tightened. According to the department, so far the outbreak is under control and the infection has only occurred in the Korean district, while the public is advised not to panic as the ASF disease is not contagious to humans. JMKM for undergraduates to begin in October. The Keluarga Malaysia Cheap Sales JMKM program will be introduced in October at public higher education institutions, IPTAs, to ease the burden on students with the reopening of universities after the semester break. Special Task Force on Jihad Against Inflation member Tan Sri Noh Omar said for a start, the program will begin in Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia in the first week of October as a pilot project before being extended to 20 IPT campuses nationwide.
JMKM, Jualan Murah Keluarga Malaysia, siswa, kita insyaAllah kita akan lancarkan di Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia ataupun UKM, iaitu akan bermula dalam bulan Oktober ini, yang akan pelaksananya nanti akan terdiri daripada koperasi yang ada di pusat-pusat pengajian tinggi. Jadi sekarang ni kita ada 14 kedai koperasi di universiti dan 6 pusat keusahawanan di IPTA. Maka kita akan mengadakan kerjasama strategik KUSKOM dengan pihak pengajian tinggi, dengan Suruhanjaya Kopi Malaysia, Suruhanjaya Koperasi Malaysia, dengan Kementerian Pengajian Tinggi, dengan JPT.
Tan Sri Noh, who is also Entrepreneur Development and Cooperatives Minister, said the format of the program is the same as the existing JMKM, where sales will be conducted for 2 days every week until 31st December. Speaking in a press conference after the 18th Task Force meeting yesterday, he also said items to be on sale include stationery, document copies, printing services, prepaid additional data, books and food. Bank Rakyat has organised the cashless halal food festival at the Bank Rakyat Twin Towers in Kuala Lumpur to promote the use of cashless payments among consumers. Entrepreneur Development and Cooperatives Minister Tan Sri Noh Omar said the event is expected to rake in 1 million ringgit in sales.
Kita punya KPI kita dalam tempoh 5 hari ini, kita harap kita akan dapat jualan sebanyak 1 juta ringgit. Jadi saya menyerulah di luar sana untuk datang ke Menara Bank Rakyat untuk bukan saja menyaksikan program tapi boleh memilih berbagai-bagai jenis makanan yang ada di Bank Rakyat. Dan dalam program ini duit tunai tak laku dah. Semua kena pakai kad.
According to the minister, the food festival would convene 150 halal food traders starting yesterday until Friday. Tan Sri Noh said the festival also aimed at promoting cashless business transactions among the public in line with the government's aspiration of raising financial literacy among members of Keluarga Malaysia. He said entrepreneurs should use the cashless platform to drive their business growth, in addition to leveraging technology to continue to be stable and sustainable. Thailand eyeing 1.5 million foreign tourists each month in Q4.
With the MERS 999 application system, getting emergency assistance is now easier. Save Me 999 Police connects the Malaysian public to the police. Save Me 999 Deaf for those with hearing or speech impairments. And Save Me 999 Blind for those with visual impairments. Download now for free on your smartphones. MERS 999 and applications make emergency calls easier.
Britain said farewell to Queen Elizabeth II on Monday at a historic state funeral attended by world leaders before a ceremonial journey past hundreds of thousands mourners to her final place of rest. Huge crowds gathered in London to watch as the Queen's flag-draped coffin, topped with the imperial state crown, her orb and sceptre, was carried slowly to a gun carriage from Parliament's Westminster Hall, where it had lain in state since Wednesday. To the tune of pipes and drums, the gun carriage used at every state funeral since Queen Victoria's in 1901 was then drawn by 142 junior enlisted sailors in the Royal Navy to Westminster Abbey. The 1,000-year-old church's tenor bells tolled 96 times at 1-minute intervals, one for every year of her life, and stopped a minute before the service began at 11 a.m. local time. In his funeral sermon, Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, praised the Queen's life of duty and service to the UK and the Commonwealth. The coffin was then borne to the rhythmic strains of funeral marches on a 3-hour journey through the streets of London to Windsor Castle, west of the capital. The last chants of God Save the Queen were heard as onlookers scattered flowers on the road and muffled church bells rang in the distance. A private burial took place late Monday in the King George VI Memorial Chapel conducted by the Dean of Windsor, according to the official website of the royal family. The Queen was buried together with the Duke of Edinburgh, a statement said, referring to her husband of 73 years, Prince Philip, who died last year. Thailand expects to welcome 1.5 million foreign tourists each month in the last quarter of this year. Acting government spokesperson Anucha Burapachaisri said as Thailand eased its COVID-19 restrictions, more than 5 million international tourists visited the kingdom, including more than 1 million in September. The Thailand government is targeting 10 million or more foreign tourists by the end of 2022. It has been constantly working with related public and private sectors as well as tourism business operators to identify and implement tourism promotion measures with the focus on an increase of quality tourists. Tourism Authority of Thailand plans to collaborate with airlines to launch sales and marketing campaigns to further promote tourism during the high season. The government hopes the tourism arrivals next year to reach 80% of the 40 million arrivals recorded in 2019. Thailand, one of Asia's most popular travel destinations, was visited by nearly 40 million people in 2019. However, the tourism industry almost collapsed due to the COVID-19 pandemic that forced the kingdom to introduce strict and costly entry requirements. A U.S. judge yesterday threw out the conviction of a man who has served more than 2 decades in prison for his ex-girlfriend's murder, a case that received worldwide attention thanks to the hit podcast Serial. Baltimore City Circuit Court Judge Melissa Pinn vacated the conviction of Adnan Said, 42, who has been serving a life sentence since 2000 for the 1999 murder of Lee Hae Min. Pinn ordered Said released immediately on his own recognizance in the interests of justice and fairness. Lee's body was found buried in February 1999 in a shallow grave in the woods of Baltimore, Maryland. The 18-year-old had been strangled. Said has steadfastly maintained his innocence, but his multiple appeals had been denied, including by the U.S. Supreme Court, which declined in 2019 to hear his case. In a surprise move last week, the Baltimore City State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby announced that she has asked the court to vacate Said's conviction while a further investigation is carried out. Baltimore City prosecutors now have 30 days to either bring new charges against Said or dismiss the case. Said's case earned worldwide attention when it was taken up in 2014 by Serial, a weekly podcast that saw a journalist revisit his conviction and cast doubt on his guilt. A high mountain patrol found the body of a missing Italian tourist who disappeared 80 days ago while hiking in the Peruvian Andes. Police say he died in a landslide. Alberto Fedele, who was 30, had left the village of Urubamba in the southeastern Cusco region on 4th July, heading for the Juyuyokcha Lake near the 5,500-meter-high Chicon Mountain. The patrol climbed up the slopes of the Chicon on Saturday towards an area where locals had seen a body. The state Andina news agency said they found a photograph of Fedele's passport and his mobile phone in a pocket of his jacket. The body has been transferred to a morgue morgue in Urubamba to continue investigations. Urubamba, a town of 15,000 people around 50 kilometers north of the city of Cusco, the former capital of the Inca Empire, is popular with tourists heading for the Inca Citadel Machu Picchu, Peru's best-known tourist site. Police began looking for Fidele in July after a friend reported him missing. Fidele's case is similar to that of Belgian tourist Natasha de Kromburger, who was 28 when she disappeared in January while preparing for a tour of the Andean region of Arequipa after visiting Machu Picchu. A powerful earthquake struck western Mexico yesterday, leaving at least one person dead and sparking panic hundreds of kilometers away in Mexico City on the anniversary of two devastating tremors. The quake, magnitude 7.7, according to the National Seismological Agency, shook buildings and sent people rushing out into the streets of the capital. President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador said on Twitter that the one person was killed by falling debris in a shopping center in Manzanillo in the western state of Colima. According to seismologists, the epicenter was located near the Pacific coast, around 400 kilometers west of the capital and 59 kilometers south of Colcoman in the state of Michoacan. The depth was estimated at 15 kilometers. Some areas of Mexico City suffered power outages, mainly affecting a subway line that had to be evacuated. The quake triggered dozens of aftershocks, the most powerful of which was magnitude 5.3. It was the third major earthquake on record to hit the Latin American country on the day of 19th September. Mexico City's earthquake alarms rang out less than an hour after the capital held emergency drills as part of events to mark the disasters of 1985 and 2017. On 19th September 1985, an 8.1 magnitude quake in Mexico City killed more than 10,000 people and destroyed hundreds of buildings. On the anniversary of that earthquake in 2017, a 7.1 quake left around 370 people dead, mainly in the capital. Hurricane Fiona was churning north yesterday evening after bringing torrential rain and powerful winds to the Dominican Republic. The Category 1 hurricane will likely become a Category 3 as it moves across warm Caribbean waters toward the Turks and Caicos. After strafing Puerto Rico, Fiona made landfall in the Dominican Republic near Boca Yuma at 3:30 a.m. local time. The storm center had reached the northern coast of Hispaniola before noon. It is the first hurricane to score a direct hit on the country since Jeanne left severe damage in the east of the country in September 2018. Fiona caused severe flooding, leaving several villages isolated and some 800 evacuees and more than 11,000 people without power in the country's eastern region. Dominican Republic President Luis Abinader declared a state of disaster in the provinces of La Altagracia, where the famed resort of Punta Cana is located, El Seibo and Hatomeo. In La Altagracia, in the extreme east of the country and where the hurricane made landfall on Monday morning, the overflow of the Yuma River damaged agricultural areas and left several towns isolated. Electric and water utilities are working to restore services in areas that have lost supplies. In sports, Faisal Halim, optimistic of national squad's potential. Stay with us. Prolific national striker Muhammad Faisal Abdul Halim remains optimistic that the current national squad can emerge as a powerhouse in the near future. The Terengganu FC striker's optimism stems from the fact that though the current squad is made up of players from various backgrounds, they have blended well to form a strong combination ahead of the King's Cup in Chiang Mai, Thailand from 22nd to 25th September. He said the team is depending on teamwork and no star status is accorded to any player, adding that it is important for a team to work as a unit. The 23-member national squad took off to Chiang Mai from the Kuala Lumpur International Airport too yesterday, while defender Dion Cools is expected to join the team in Chiang Mai before the national squad, ranked 148th in the FIFA ranking, faced Thailand, ranked 111th at the 700th anniversary stadium of Chiang Mai on Thursday.
Kita tahu bagaimana pasukan Thailand sebenarnya, kemampuan Thailand kita tahu. Cuma apa yang penting, sekiranya kita mampu sekat Thailand, itu adalah satu pencapaian terbaik. Target peribadi saya, sekurang-kurangnya saya mampu membantu pasukan negara ke final.
Muhammad Faisal added that playing in Chiang Mai would also serve as a good platform to prepare for the 2023 Asia Cup. Malaysia has won the King's Cup 4 times, namely in 1972, 1976, 1977 and 1978. As for coach Kim Pan-gon from South Korea, the King's Cup will give him an in-depth analysis of the new players in the squad before leading the team to play in the ASEAN Football Federation AFF Cup in December. Johor remained top of the medal table at the 20th Malaysia Games Sukma with 36 goals as the state's track cycling squad stole the limelight yesterday when they broke the national record in the women's 4-kilometre team pursuit event. The team, comprising Khairunisa Aliyah, Nur Mastura Norman, Nur Shafika Natasha Kadir and Siti Nur Adiba Akmal Muhammad Fuad, recorded a time of 4 minutes 47.317 seconds, smashing the national record of 4 minutes 57.898 seconds created at the 2018 Asian Cycling Championships in Kuala Lumpur. Johor also emerged victorious in the men's category as Chan Jen Le, Muhammad Faisal, Muhammad Hatta, Muhammad Nur Aiman Rosli and Zulhelmi Zainal recorded a time of 4 minutes 11.121 seconds. Gymnast Zarif Iman Khalid of Pulau Pinang, who is set to replace the retired Farah Ann Abdul Hadi as the country's top artistic gymnast, grabbed 3 of the 4 gold medals in women's apparatus events at the National Sports Council in Bukit Jalil yesterday, despite just recovering from an Achilles injury. Zarif, who missed the Hanoi Sea Games in May because of injury, won gold in the balance beam, floor exercise and uneven bars, and a bronze in the vault. In the men's event, Pulau Pinang gymnast Ng Chun Chen and Terengganu's Muhammad Sharul Aini Muhammad Kamarul Hisham were both outstanding in the men's individual apparatus events, picking up 3 gold each. The 2 national athletes emerged as joint gold medalists in the floor exercise event, while Chun Chen won first place in the Roman rings and parallel bars, and Muhammad Sharul topped the pommel horse and vault events. The Selangor shooters delivered 2 gold medals for the state at the Sukma Games yesterday while breaking the national record. The Selangor shooting team won the 8th gold medal for the state in the men's team 10-metre air rifle event at the National Shooting Range, Subang, setting a new record. Harid's Iglil Hazli Hafiz delivered the 9th gold medal for Selangor in the 10-metre air rifle in the men's event held at the same venue. That's it from us this afternoon. In our top story, Britain bids adieu to Queen Elizabeth II with state funeral. Thank you for watching. I'm Renee Fong. Have a pleasant afternoon.